Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Call this meeting to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Michael Cashman.
Present.
Thomas Wood.
Here.
Barbara Hebert. Here. Charles Costick.
Here.
Dana Isabella.
Here.
James Coffey is absent, and I am present.
I apologize, I meant to say the meeting was called to order at 6. Is there anyone seeking to provide public comment this evening? No public comment. I have nothing to report at this time. Today, we do have one active resolution for consideration this evening, and that is Resolution 49, the resignation of Carla Romeo as an account clerk typist from the Water and Wastewater Department.
Whereas Carla Romeo has submitted a letter of resignation from her position as account clerk typist for the Water and Wastewater Department, effective February 17th of 2023. Therefore be it resolved that the Town of Plattsburgh Town Board, with appreciation for her prior years of service in that position, accept Ms. Romeo's letter of resignation as account clerk typist, and be further resolved that a copy of this resolution be given to the finance manager and be put in her personnel file.
Is there a motion? Wood, Costick, any discussion? I just want to thank her for her service. I know that there's some circumstances that changed her employment here herself, and she provided a letter, and I just wanted to highlight a couple of comments that she had included in her letter. I thank you for the things I have learned and will take with me, and I thank you for the laughs and the time that you spent making me feel like one of the team members here. I hope to be friends when I walk through the doors in the future, and I walk away from this position having learned more about water and wastewater, and I have the faith in the fact that the next person to work in this department will also be welcome as I. I really hope the employees of the town of Plattsburgh know and appreciate what is given and offered to them in the way of true caring, appreciation, and respect. And I have more than once been amazed at how the town treats its employees. That truly says something about a place. I think it also says a lot about Carla, about the type of people that come to work here every day. They're part of that culture and environment. We have great employees. I'm sad to see her go, but wish her extreme luck and good things in the future. So, anything further? Seeing none, can I, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Resolution does carry. And just so everybody knows, we'll be going through the process of civil service to fill that position. In materials for you tonight, this is the rest of this is a work session, so it is draft materials for minutes. There is a draft request for an individual to attend the water operator certification course. That is not offered here locally, so the individual does have to travel. And then the other draft material is the planning, professional planning codes and consulting services award. This is something that we have done at least once or twice now, has worked out really well, and just staying in that model.
And we've had some highly qualified interest. You know, the point we had 6, we need 6.
Yep.
You know, bidders.
Yep. So, so the last of those materials will be on the agenda next week for consideration. Is there anyone seeking to provide any committee reports? Any committee
I
reports?
have some.
Go ahead.
Dana, did you have something you wanted to? Go ahead. Yeah, go right ahead, you got some.
Well, just when we, liaison met with the 2 judges, we encouraged them to get their personal training that they're required to do every year. And they had not pursued that. It had been, since COVID, it's always been on Zoom. That was how they got through the required amount. But it's opened up this year, and they can go in person, but they have to register by March 7th. It's a 2-day thing, Tuesday, Wednesday, the 14th, 15th, and both judges judges said they could clear their calendar, I think, to go to that. So that's
Great.
something that there's
Quite the musical group.
I think you were made through a quiz.
Are you text, no,
I sent it today.
That was my,
When you work for a power company, that's what you have to have. You have a bed at 2 in the morning to go
that was a
fix
2-2
power.
for your report. Good
um,
job.
yeah, just that they have identified the need to have some type of large screen that they can put videos on for court evidence, et cetera, when they have to do that. And at the present time, they have 8 trials that have been backed up from previous COVID times, and the requirement, or what the do is.
Jury trials.
Yeah, jury trials, I meant, and what they would be doing is having 2 at a time. In case one gets settled, they can do the second one. They don't have to bring in another 50 to 100 people for a jury. So that I did attend the selection of jurors last night, just to observe how things were done, and it's quite interesting. So I think that's about it. A few other things that we'll be following up on with them.
Great, thank you. Barb?
Yeah, just a couple committee reports. Recently met with the town clerk, that was a liaison meeting, so the dog control officer arrangement is going well for Katie in terms of Mr. Jody Pereira, so we thank him for that. The internal record keeping review that the audit committee participates in, obviously, filing deadlines is really important in the town clerk's office, and certainly Katie, meeting those filing deadlines, there's a certain window, and she has to keep track of various agencies she has to report her her submittal to, and so they vary from 3 days to 5 days to 7 days. We've all been talking about the record management grant, so the execution of the steps are certainly happening. I haven't been downstairs, but I think Chuck, you mentioned there's a staging area down there for go in the.
They have a new lockup area
Yeah.
for the court that's been built, B&G built that. so.
Yeah, which is great. So you had a
It's looking
staging
good.
area for going into the vault, and then the staging area for destruction of records, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Coming along nicely.
Yeah, so I think there's several more weeks that are gonna be happening in terms of this process, Katie. Tax receiver liaison meeting, credit card payments, e-checks, debit cards increased this year in terms of payment for taxes. And so, Jackie will hopefully give us a little bit more analysis of that, the next time we meet, just to kind of help us out, understand that. But what was interesting is I think that's redirected her, no action taken, but just to look at her hours maybe, just to see, because the increase in that has, a little bit of the decrease in the foot traffic, but they were still very busy. The Dropbox option is, feedback on that has been very good, as well as the window. So from a customer service delivery process, we have options for people to use to pay their taxes. So the other thing that Tom and I are interested in is the Association of Towns, if anybody hasn't known, but there is an attorney who is actually doing what she calls office hours on Zoom. And she had one recently for tax collectors. And Jackie was aware of it. She was actually aware of it. She couldn't participate because unfortunately the date was January 30th. We all know January 30th is kind of the end date for what's happening. So, kudos to the Association of Towns. I think that's something that's kind of interesting. This attorney's just saying, my office is open, and she does a Zoom session. So, okay, any questions?
Anyone else?
I would just say one thing, we did have a customer service training session for the office area staff for the front facing, so I think it went well attended, well received. Just try to make sure that we're projecting the right image to the public that's coming in with the office folks. And safety committee, we're back on track. It's good to see that we have folks that are going back to classes now. Some of the OSHA required classes, et cetera, through the chamber, so they're doing some in-person training in Canton, and we are working on a safety day here at the town, so the finally gonna get that back on the books now that it's post-COVID, so.
Good.
Great. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. All right, speaking of safety, it is pretty nasty out there, so please drive safe. We will adjourn tonight's meeting at 6:11 p.m. We'll see you next week. Anticipate a executive session next week for some personnel matters. No action to be taken, but just want to give you an update, but other than that.